And we're starting the new year, and the new year is just always a wonderful opportunity to just recalibrate what our intention is for this new year, so that we can really focus in regards of what's going to move the needle in the best way, so that we can have the life that we're seeking with the least amount of effort and abrasion in our life. So it's always good to review what we did the year before and how we could have done it better. And one of the things that I always tell myself is, you did your best, and so that's got to be good enough. But what did you learn from those opportunities that maybe the feedback wasn't exactly positive in some of your experiences? And I look at it as feedback is just an opportunity to allow me to do things better next time. And so once again, I don't believe in failure. I always feel there's just an opportunity for feedback, so that it makes it a little easier for us to understand which direction we want to go and why. So in this whole mindset of a keto adaptive lifestyle and healing our body, really you become your own personal experiment. And this is something that I tell my patients all the time, is that there's no one size fits all, especially when it comes to your health. And what works for someone may not work for another. What foods may be someone's medicine, may be somebody else's poison. And so it's really important that we begin to really pay attention to how our body is expressing itself in regards of clues that we might get. I always say, since food is energy, it should give us energy. We should have mental clarity and enough fuel to last for 4 to 5 hours. And so when we end up eating a meal and we feel tired and sleepy and we're hungry in an hour and a half, then obviously the fuel that we put into our engine was not in a right balance. And therefore, we're being dictated by our stomach. And I personally want to be dictated by the chemistry in regards to creating a good balance, rather than always feeling I'm hungry and I'm wanting something. And one of the beautiful things is, when you get on a keto platform, you stop having cravings, which is really nice. And so you don't have that need, other than emotionally looking at something and saying, gosh, I'd really like to have that. So it really makes it wonderful when you can start having a lifestyle that matters to preventing and treating as well. So it's 7:05 right now, so I think we are going to go ahead and get started. So let's see. Okay.
All right. So that
from Veronica. Okay, awesome.
That way you can see the chat.
Okay, perfect.
As you run through it.
So I just hit
share screen.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to get this party going.
And double click on that. And play.
Okay, so I'd like to welcome you all. I know this is taking time out of your precious day. In fact, you could be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm starving. So hope you made yourself a protein shake or a cup of tea, so that you can sit next to the next 45 minutes really with an open mind and not a hungry belly, so that you can take in all of what I have to say. And I think you're going to walk away with a few great pearls of wisdom here that you can apply starting now. So again, that is our intention, is to really give you the information that you can make your own decisions based upon science. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how a ketogenic can help you heal your body. Now, I've created an adaptive type of a ketogenic platform. And so again, make sure that you stay tuned throughout the entire webinar series, because we are going to have some bonuses at the end for you, okay? Now, this is just a medical disclaimer saying that I am not a medical doctor, and nor do I have the intent to diagnose or to treat. My information is based on 30 years of science, working as a nutritionist and working with top medical doctors and developing medically based protocols to support people in their lifestyle in reversing many, many disease or issues. So again, once again, I'm not this is not to replace any of your medical advice that your doctor is giving, but to enhance it. So what I want to really do tonight is really dispel some of the myths and misinformation. There's so many diets out there. Many of my patients come very confused, especially when they come in with a diagnosis of cancer, and immediately what everyone does is they go into research modality, and they come in very confused. Should they eat a vegan? Should they be vegetarian? Should they do keto? Should they do raw? And so hopefully tonight you're going to understand how to make a great choice for your personal condition. And so over the next 45 minutes, we're going to shatter a lot of myths that may be kept you in the mindset of feeling sick and tired and overweight and with inflammation. Now, if you're suffering from any health issues that have not improved with medical treatment, then what I'm going to share with you is how you can use food as your medicine. We're going to take it step by step and really talk about the lifestyle so that you can not only transform, but you can regain your health. So who am I? I'm a clinical certified nutritionist. I've been working in this field for over 35 years. So really I have in my mindset a PhD on how to live this lifestyle, because I don't ask any of my patients to do anything that I haven't already adapted in my own life. So everything that I'm going to be teaching you tonight is exactly the way I live. And the reason being is because I want to prevent disease, I want to prevent inflammation, I want to stay in my same body weight that I was when I was 18, even though I'm 60 now. There's no reason that my body composition should have to change. If I begin to recognize that as far as age is concerned, there's certain things I need less than I used to when I was younger, and I continue to adapt it. So you're going to get a lot of my personal experience working with my patients, what the medical doctors have shared with me, and also my own personal experience as well. I've been working at the Center for New Medicine as the head nutritionist for 14 years, actually going on to 15 years now. And I've been very blessed because this is one of the top medical facilities in the country. And I would say probably we are one of the largest in the United States, and have become quite acclaimed, working with Dr. Keneally in the treatment of cancer and reversing with alternative methods. So I feel very fortunate to have had this opportunity. We, together with the physicians, myself, we've created thousands of nutritional protocols for people who are suffering from a variety of health challenges. So I always say that I treat from A to Z, from the common cold to cancer and everything in between. And so again, my experience has been that I see in regards to people who are actually following the platform, have made it the fabric of who they are, that they can reverse and or stabilize most of their condition within a 6 to a 12-month period. So a question that people always ask me, well, how long do you think it's going to take? And honestly, that's a question that is very ambiguous, because it really depends on the client's participation and whether they actually become the change that they're seeking, so that they can not only experience these changes, but keep them for a lifetime. Now, why listen to me? Well, you know, besides the fact that I've got a lot of passion and enthusiasm and a lot of knowledge and background, but I've also been sought out as keynote speaker in a lot of different conferences. The first time I spoke at a conference, it was kind of scary because I didn't realize it was to all medical doctors. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what am I going to teach medical doctors? But it was really interesting because what I realized that I had a lot to teach them, because most of their experience was very limited. And so it gave me a lot of confidence to realize that my expertise is sought after. And that's why, as far as Dr. Keneally at the Center for New Medicine, I'm considered first-line therapy, which means that by the third visit, the patient comes to the clinic, they are to see me as well, because Dr. Keneally feels that the foundation of reversing anybody's health is through the science of nutrition. And so again, I've had the pleasure to speak in many different countries. And again, I was just featured not too long ago on West Coast Weekly, all about the ketogenic platform. So it's been a wonderful experience that I'm going to be sharing with you. And so again, Ty Bollinger came to our clinic and did a lot of filming, The Truth About Cancer, and I was featured on his series as well. So again, it's growing in passion. So many people are recognizing this keto platform is now going to be used in so many different medical protocols that can help to stabilize people's health. And the secrets that doctors don't really want you to know is that food can be your medicine. And, when I was at that conference and doctors were coming up to me, they said, I never learned this in medical school. And wow, this is, really great. And I wish I had a nutritionist in my office. And they would share with me that their limited education that they got, interestingly enough, that most of the time it's been about 40 hours in terms of nutritional science, the interaction on a molecular level, but now they get 1 semester. So imagine 1 semester of education for nutrition. I had a patient today, this is very typical. She came to me and she said, my doctor and the many doctors that I've gone to just don't know how to treat diverticulitis. And they say, okay, well, you got to heal your gut, but they don't give me the how to. And so today, and she was quite knowledgeable, and we had a wonderful conversation, and she thanked me. She says, wow, you are the first person that I've been to that hit so many key points, asked me so many questions, and now I feel that I'm on the road to be able to actually treat my condition with confidence. And of course, that made me feel fantastic, because my intention is to be able to support anyone that comes to me in helping to move them forward to achieve the best vitality and health that they possibly can have. And so again, everything is going to be science-based. And so what we realize is that most health conditions can be reversed by just your lifestyle, the way you think, the way you eat, and how you interact with the outside world. So what you're going to learn today is going to be the distinction between a keto adaptive diet. This is the protocol that I've put together, and I call it the CAD diet, versus the normal ketogenic diet and the diet versus a lifestyle. We're going to teach you how it can help you lose weight and also at the same time suppress your appetite. And who doesn't want to have an appetite suppressant? Many of my patients come in looking for a medication or something that will help to suppress their appetite, when they realize if they just created a mindset of eating every 4 to 5 hours and keeping their blood sugar stable, they actually don't crave at all. So within about the first 7 days, people lose all of their cravings. I'm going to teach you how being on a CAD platform can help you prevent and or treat cancer by starving it of its primary fuel called glucose, and how it can reverse blood sugar issues, pre and also type 2 diabetes, also issues with GERD and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, diverticulitis. So it's going to be advantageous for many, many different conditions. The beautiful thing that I love about it, it really helps to slow down the aging process, and at the same time increase your energy and mental clarity. This is something that many of my patients share with me as they start to get older, is that they don't feel that they have very good short-term memory anymore, and that their energy, that even when they wake up with a good night's sleep, they really feel like they just don't quite have the energy that they used to. So what's in it for you tonight? So my intention is really to help you understand how this CAD protocol can provide you the platform so that you can achieve exceptional health, and how you can adapt it to fit into your lifestyle with your specific health goals. One thing that I have learned, and I take it to heart, is knowledge is power. And I want you to know what is best for you so that you can make the choices yourself based upon what I have to teach you, and also how you can see this fitting into your lifestyle. And so we want to experience the energy, we want to have that healthy life, and I'm here to share you some of those secrets today. Now, why now? Well, one of the things that it creates an urgency for me and a real desire is we are facing a global health crisis. It's scary to understand that 1 of 2 people are getting cancer in this country. And honestly, it's almost 1 to 1. It's like a Russian roulette. You yes, you no. You yes, you no. And it used to be that cancer was mostly something that you would expect in old age on a cellular level. We produce, I would say, over 76,000 cancer cells a day, but when we have a very good immune system, our immune system is able to detect and also destroy. But with all of the toxins that we are burdened by the air, by the water, by the lack of nutrients in the soil, the chemicals, the hormones, the pesticides, it's really, really difficult for our body to actually handle this burden load. And so if we really look at creating a lifestyle that is about only bringing those things into our field that's of a benefit and keeping out those fields that aren't going to be to our highest interest, you're going to be already on your road to success. 40% of adults are obese in this country, and 20% children fit into this category. Well, that's really sad, because one thing about excessive fat when it gets to the obese level is that it becomes its own endocrine organ, producing bad estrogens. And that's even in children as well. I'm sure you've noticed on the beach, you've seen little children, little boys especially, that have breast. We call that gynomastica. And so it's a very sad state that we're experiencing right now. And again, you know, people are also experiencing diseases that you would normally get, as I said, like cancer in old age, like dementia and Alzheimer's, due to heavy mercury, burden overload, and also nutritional deficiencies as well. So this Keto Adaptive platform is going to be perfect for you if you have been struggling with dieting. If in fact you suffer from any of these conditions, whether it's cancer, diabetes, inflammation, intestinal disorders, obesity, if you have a lack of energy and your goal is to desire to have a more vitality and more mental clarity, and you really want to feel younger than you look, then this is going to be perfect for you. So most important, I always say, now is the only time we own. So many people, when they're in the stress modality, I always say, you are in the future, because fear is related to stress, which is the future. When people experience a sense of sadness, then I always say, you're in the past. Obviously, there may be something that you have not been able to process in a healthy way. So regardless whether it's the future creating fear and anxiety, or whether it's the past, those are two things that are emotions that can create a chemistry. I would say our emotions create our reality, which is our chemistry. And so if you're frustrating right now and you're thinking, that's me, you know, you're really not alone. 80% of the US population is currently experiencing not only inflammation and chronic disease, but overweight and many, many health challenges that if they just knew, now their doctor just told them when they came in to get their basic yearly examination that their blood sugar was rising to dangerous levels, that they could begin now and not wait until they became a type 2 diabetic. If they were told that they would be on the road to diabetes and cancer and heart disease, I would guarantee you most patients would be it would be a very sobering conversation where they would take it a lot more serious and really begin to use lifestyle as their medium for change. So really, you're going to ask yourself, what will be different in 1 to 5 years from now if I don't have the courage to make this change? Really ask yourself. No, is your health going to be any better? Probably not. So let's talk about what a keto adaptive diet is all about. Now, it's a modified version of the more restrictive ketogenic diet, which has been medically used since the 1930s to treat epileptic seizures. Now, the CAD ketogenic diet, like the CAD, also utilizes stored fat for fuel under caloric restriction or under glucose restriction. Now, the CAD diet that I have put together is not calorically restrictive. It is glucose restrictive. So it's nice because when you don't have to think about reducing your calories, you can eat to be full. And when you're eating a lot of the low carbohydrate foods that are full of fiber and water, you have a better sense of satiety and your brain registers it much quicker. So our intention is to optimize our ability to use fat for fuel, and that will optimize our ability to not only lose weight, but to reverse and also prevent the onset of excessive aging. Now, unlike the fad diets, the ketogenic diet or the CAD diet has been used to improve health, and now it's really becoming more accepted, and it's growing in its trend. In fact, on 2017, the first major medical ketogenic conference was held to educate medical professionals on the benefits. So it's not just being used now for seizures, but it's been being used to treat and prevent cancer, diabetes, and obesity, and also inflammation. You know, in more recent years, the ketogenic diet was successfully used to treat obesity and type 2 diabetics as well. And interesting, Dr. Simeon, who had people do the HCG diet, you know, he had people on a 500 caloric restrictive diet. That is severe ketogenesis. We're not going to go anywhere near that kind of a platform. The CAD diet is a lifestyle that you can stay on for the rest of your life. And so again, you'll see how that it fits in with yours. You know, at the Center for New Medicine, 75% of our patients adopting this lifestyle are really able to prevent many of their health conditions within a year. And so usually within about a 3-month period, people are always sharing with me, gosh, I feel so great, and wow, I've lost so much weight. Our patients who have cancer, that's probably one of the things that they struggle most with, is that they're losing an excessive amount of weight on this protocol. So I have to make sure that we are bolstering them with a lot of fat calories so that they don't continue to lose their weight, and making sure that they do exercises to support their lean muscle tissue. Because on the CAD diet, you should be able to hold on to lean muscle tissue and burn your belly fat. This is the area that causes us most endocrine disorders. So the CAD diet really is our primal blueprint. You know, from an evolutionary standpoint, our ancestors were hunter and gatherers, and humans went into ketosis every winter when there was a shortage of food or carbohydrates. Now think about it. You know, in the caveman days, we would hunt and we would eat when we would have it, and there would be days on end where there would be no food. So we are really excellent at storing fat for fuel. But unfortunately, our primal blueprint hasn't changed. Although we have 24-hour service of food anytime, anywhere delivered to you, and our body is not meant to have refeed so often with so much food on a consumption level. They used to store this fat, and they would convert this excessive fat when they were in a time of shortage of food into ketone proteins. Now, ketone proteins are not like turning your fat into sugar. It turns into these proteins, which is a wonderful source of energy for the brain, and this is why it's used so much for seizures, and especially for people who have glioblastoma, which is brain cancer, because you're able to sustain your energy without feeding cancer. So ketones is the perfect fuel for your metabolism. It's the perfect fuel for your brain, but it starves cancer of their most precious fuel, which is sugar. And we're able to sustain our energy for a long period of time without feeling hungry. Now, the CAD diet isn't going to keep you in ketosis all the time, but you go in and out of it, which is our primal blueprint, which is very natural and very healthy. So this is just a slide to show you the process. So if we have less foods that turn into sugar, because remember, the CAD diet is not based on a caloric restriction, as it's based on a sugar restriction. So when we have less sugar in our diet, whether it's from our breads or our pastas or our fruits or our cookies or candies or things of that nature, things that turn into glucose, our body sends fatty acids to the liver, and then it breaks it down to ketones. And as I said before, the ketones fuel our brain and our metabolism so we can continue to function at optimally. And again, what the beautiful thing about this too is it actually will improve our lipid disorders, or even for people who have a fatty liver, because your body will source out whatever fat that it can find. First, it's going to go to your fat cells, and then it will go, in fact, if patients have a fatty liver, will begin to break down that fat and use it for fuel. A lot of patients ask me, well, how about all this fat? Is it going to affect my cholesterol? Well, the beautiful thing about this, the more fat you have, the cellular intelligence of the liver produces less cholesterol. So when I take in more, my primary blueprint in regards to the importance of cholesterol for every single cell structure in the body, we produce less if we're taking in a little bit more. Now, how does it improve overall health? Well, one is if we're utilizing this excess fat for fuel, we're really decreasing inflammation. As I said before, fat can act as an endocrine organ producing bad estrogens for men, women, and children. Now, how does the CAD diet starve and prevent cancer? Well, it's interesting to note that cancer cells and their receptor sites have about 10 to 12 times more insulin receptor sites. So they utilize glucose 10 to 12 times more than a healthy cell. So sugar essentially will feed tumors and encourage the growth of cancer. Now, it's interesting to note that sugar consumption over the last 100 years has skyrocketed. 100 years ago, we had like 1 pound of sugar that we consumed a year. And when I'm talking sugar, I'm not talking table sugar. I'm talking foods that come from the plant kingdom. All food that comes from the plant kingdom, whether they are vegetables, fruits, beans, or grain, turn into glucose. So the highest macronutrient is glucose in these foods. Well, today it's estimated, and this includes children as well, that we are consuming 90 to 180 pounds of sugar a year. That is a mountain of sugar. Our bodies do not know how to handle this amount of sugar, and it's very, very toxic to our chemistry. So if I would ask you, does this look like sugar? You'd probably say, no, it doesn't look like sugar at all. But interestingly enough, a little bag of French fries that we get at any drive-up fast food is about 45 grams of sugar. A bowl of quinoa, and everybody thinks, oh, quinoa is so healthy, it's a wonderful protein seed. But if you've ever looked at the back of a box of quinoa, it tells you total carbohydrate. Now understand that total carbohydrate means total sugar. And it'll say something like a third of a cup is 45 grams of carbohydrate. So honestly, 1 cup of cooked quinoa is 45 grams of sugar. 1 bun is 45 grams of sugar. Now, you would never think about that, but it's like consuming 10 teaspoons of sugar cubes. Well, anybody in their right mind would not put 10, well, somebody might, but they might not put 10 sugar cubes and pop them in their mouth once at a time. They would think that would be pretty insane. I would think that. But again, 50 grams of carbohydrates eaten at any one meal lowers your white blood cell capacity by 50%. Now think about that. You send your children with 2 pieces of bread, that's 36 grams of sugar, that's in a sandwich. You send them with a bag of chips, there's another 25 grams of sugar. Then you send them with a little juice, there's another 30 grams of sugar. And maybe you might send them with a couple of Oreo cookies. Well, there's another 25. So no wonder these poor children are falling asleep after their lunch and not able to concentrate, because the sugar is running them up. And it's also creating a cortisol toxicity to the brain and making them fall asleep. So again, let's rethink what we are packing in our children's lunch and what we're packing in our lunch when we go to work to try to have a very productive day. So just remember, your body is your primary vehicle. Now think about this. It's really important. I love using this analogy. And so I'd say, like any really great, beautiful sports car that you cherish, you wouldn't think to put terrible gas in that car, because it would run really rough and it would spurt and it would really kind of create rust in the inside of that engine. Well, food is no different. If I eat those foods that are acidic and that are toxic to my body doesn't know what to do with them. And so it begins to really create a lot of acidity. And unfortunately, we have to use our minerals to buffer it. So our hair, our skin, and our nails can suffer from some of the foods that we are choosing because we're using them to try to clean the rust out of our body. So I want you to really begin to think food is fuel. Remember, Partida said that it's, food is your medication. And that's exactly the way we want to look at that. Let food be thy medicine. Very important. So the benefits of a keto adaptive diet is going to help you to prevent most diseases. It's going to improve your body composition to get you to a healthy, natural weight that your body knows that intelligent of what that should be. Now, we also understand that our body's always looking for that extra additional 5 pounds for famine. And so we might think that, our weight at 120 is ideal for us, but our body likes 125. The beautiful thing about this CAD diet that it teaches you, once you get to your goal set point, how you can get back to what we would consider your ideal skinny weight and kind of bounce back between my ideal and my set point very easily with some of the tools that I will be able to share with you. And then, of course, who doesn't want increased mental clarity and energy? I know at 60 years old, I think to myself, that is the last thing that I would ever want to do is lose my memory. I see so many of my patients, they don't even recognize who the people are caretaking for them, their children, their family, and it's really sad. And so again, I want to live a long life, but with all my facilities intact as best as I possibly can. So let's slow down that aging. Let's adopt a lifestyle that really is going to be to our highest interest. Now, again, I tell every patient this, you can do it. The bottom line is, this is not going to be any different than anything else you've succeeded at. It's going to take dedication, time, and even some sacrifice, and sometimes a little discomfort. Change is never comfortable because we have to go outside of our comfort zone. So it's going to take a little courage. But again, most of the patients that come to me, they've hit a wall. They feel discouraged and they're frustrated. They've tried on their own. Their doctor says, yeah, you've got high blood pressure. You've got obesity. You've got type 2 diabetes. Get the carbs out of your diet. If in fact they even say something as constructive as that, or go exercise. But they don't teach you the how. And so this is what I've done, and I'm so excited about teaching you the how. So again, many of my patients on the CAD system have, really proven to create such great success over a long-term time. I'll see patients a year from when I first saw them. I usually like to see patients, once every couple of weeks, then once every 3 months, and every 6 months. And then, long-term, I kind of say at least 2 to 3 times a year. And it's wonderful when I see these patients. They say, look at me. I've reversed all my conditions, and don't have diabetes anymore, and no inflammation. And I hear story and story. And even with my patients that are in compromised immune system, they say they feel better now treating cancer than they did when they didn't have it, because they've adapted a really healthy lifestyle. And at the same time, they begin to really realize what matters in their life. And this is the thing about any very serious condition. You begin to realize, where you want to put your time, your attention, and your energy, because you need to move the needle in a direction that's going to benefit you and not take any time away from you. This is one of my patients that I absolutely adore. Her name is Kathleen, and she's been really a mascot for me and the CAD protocol. She came to me very shy, kind of like, okay, the doctor asked me to come to you. And, but she had a lot of courage, and she was a vegan, and she had a lot of inflammation and a lot of issues that she was trying to overcome. She says, gosh, I just feel like a 90-year-old woman when I get out of bed. I can hardly walk. And I said, okay. And I listened to her very intently. And so I said, okay, well, together, I will teach you, but of course I cannot do it for you. And so she took a lot of my classes. In fact, I've been teaching this platform at the Center for New Medicine for over 14 years. And she took my class for 5 years in a row. And then she just became my helper, because I said, well, my goodness, you're such an amazing person. You're offering so much inspiration. She used to bring her size, pants that were way out here, and to what she is now, to say, look, I used to fit into this. This is 2 people. And now I'm trim and fit, and all of my conditions that I had so many problems with are reversed. So I really take my hat off to all my patients who have really adopted this platform as a lifestyle. So what I want to do right now is I want you to just take a moment, and I want you to just go inside, and just for a moment, let's just take a quiet moment. And if you've been writing things down, I want you to set them down, just, be comfortable, close your eyes for a moment, just indulge me for this one moment, and just center yourself, and just have a nice cool and cleansing breath as you allow the air to enter on a very organic nature as your stomach slightly in place. Bring that air up. Hold it for a moment. And as you exhale, Just allow a cool and cleansing energy just ripple through your body as it was washing away all stress that you accumulated throughout the day. Now, as you close your eyes, I want you to imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror and smiling. You can actually see yourself looking stronger, looking slimmer. You have that shimmer in your eye, that sense of vitality. You're a part, your people, at parties, people are coming up to you and they're commenting, wow, what have you been doing? You look different. You look like you've lost weight. You've slimmed down. Wow, imagine how you feel. You have a new sense of confidence about yourself now. It's easy for you to continue to make these healthy choices. Making these choices feel right in every single fabric of who you are. And maybe for the first time, you know you have the tools and now the knowledge to continue on this path because you deserve it. You have more energy, you're happier, and you are enjoying life to the maximum capacity. Just feel that. Feel that in your cellular intelligence, in every single fiber of who you are as a human being. It feels great to have dominion over your choices and over your life and the direction that it's going. Take a deep breath in and exhale as you confirm all these I am. So education is really the key. You know, and I've been teaching, as I said before, these courses at the Center for New Medicine for the past 14 years. I've refined them. And with the last beta group, they gave me a lot of wonderful information, and I've really adapted it and really took to heart everything they said, so that this new platform is going to really be not only the most educational and fun, but it's going to be very, very easy to do. And so those of you who have been on the protocol and used the CAD protocol, you know that on the average of about a 6-week period, you're going to be losing anywhere between 8 and 12 pounds. If you're one of these patients that are saying to yourself, gosh, I don't want to lose another pound because my body is in cachexia, I've been breaking down my lean muscle tissue, then again, we are going to stabilize your weight so that you don't continue to lose more weight by giving you the platform to develop layer upon layer on what you need to do to succeed. So again, most of my patients experience a reduction in their inflammation, in their glucose, and also in their blood pressure, as well as weight loss. Again, many of my patients have requested a whole protocol online because a lot of my patients come from all over the world. And in fact, they come for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. That's the one thing they always say to me, oh, I wish I could take your course. I've learned so much from you. And don't you have this online? And so I kept saying to myself, oh my gosh, I got to do this platform, or I got to do this platform. But as always, it's all a learning curve. And I've really teamed up with some amazing people and partnered up with my team who are able to put this all together in a very efficient manner and an easy step-by-step protocol. And so now for the first time, we're going to, the second time as a beta group, so it's going to be intimate and fun, and you're going to learn a lot. And so today I'm going to be offering the Keto Kickstart as an online beta course. And again, we're going to be featuring what I call the Keto Stacking. It's a new term. We coined it because, and honestly, you've got to build a foundation, right? And then from the foundation, you've got to build the walls, and then the walls, and then the partition the rooms, and then the roof. So really, a house isn't built overnight, and so neither will this protocol. But the beautiful thing about it is there's no failure. There's only feedback, and that feedback will move you in the direction that you need to stay on course with. So you want to learn a little bit more now? So I want to feature my unique keto stacking method right now. So stay tuned. Here we go. So this is what you're going to receive. We're going to do a weekly release, and so we're going to have what we call modules. And so instead of doing a 1-hour live, what I've decided to do is pre-record these sessions, and I've cut them up into modules so they're bite-sized pieces. So That way, if you want to refer back to something in particular, like how to read a food label or what are the foods that are going to be on this platform, you can go straight to that video without having to go through a whole 1 hour video. So this is going to be very, very convenient. Once you have these videos, they're evergreen for you. You can go back to them as many times as you would like to have. So we'll be doing the weekly releases once a week for the next 6 weeks. So again, Module 1 is all about how to implement the protocol, which is changing from the standard American diet, which I call the SAD diet, to the Keto Adaptive Diet. Module 2 is going to teach you how to become an efficient fat burner while you are holding on to lean muscle tissue. Most of the people, when they go on diets, the first thing that they share with me is, oh my gosh, I lost all my muscle and my legs and my bottom is flat and I feel like everything is sagging on me. And so the beautiful thing about this is when you have high calories and you are doing some of the stacking protocols with the exercises that we're going to be teaching you, you can hold on to that lean muscle tissue. And so again, Module 3 is all about that. What type of exercise is going to be suitable for the condition you have and or in creating more density and also creating more bone density as well. Module 4 is all about how to reduce stress, because stress is probably one of the greatest predictors of all disease and inflammation. Now, we have 2 additional modules as bonuses for the keto stacking. And so Module 5 is going to be, I love this module because it's all about working with our cellular intelligence. Every single cell in your body is programmed for pro-life. But we do so many things that gives us mixed messages. We smoke, and right on the label of a cigarette, it says, will be hazardous to yourself, but people do it anyway. We do things when we know that hormones and pesticides and herbicides and plastics and all of these things can cause us to have weakened organ systems and health issues, but we do it anyway. So what does that tell our cellular intelligence? It tells us we just don't care. And so what we want to do is we want to treat ourselves if they were a 5-year-old child and really taking the utmost of care in the way we speak to ourselves and also in how we are going to set a new platform of thought. The Module 6 is about the maintenance protocol, meaning that some of the foods we're going to take out in the beginning are going to be inflammatory foods like your grains and high carbohydrates. And then Module 6 is about how would we adapt some of these grains back into our diets? Which ones are going to be better? Which ones are going to be low in lectins, which are sticky proteins that all grains have? Which ones are going to be better for my blood type if I should choose to eat them? And how much can I have so that I maintain my results? So Module 6 is all about reintroducing some of those foods back into our diet, but in a more sophisticated manner in regards to which ones are going to be beneficial, and then we leave out those that are not going to be beneficial. So again, the beautiful about having these modules a week before we do the live chat is it's going to give you plenty of time to review the modules so that when we do the interactive live coaching calls, you can have all of your questions written down and you can either send them in advance or you can just have an open platform where you can ask me. So it's going to be really interactive, and you'll be surprised how much you learn from other people in the group and things that they might have discovered or challenge that they might have. You might be saying to yourself, gosh, that's me too. That was my question I was going to ask. And so we really become a very tight-knit team. And I always say your participation supports the success of the group. And so I want you to be as interactive as possible when we do these live coaching calls. You'll also get a lot of downloads. One of them is going to be the Keto Cookbook, and along with lots of resources. I've got things on how to be able to do different detoxes or do some self-administered tests to see if your thyroid is functioning, or all kinds of really fun PDFs that you'll be getting as well. Now, you'll also have access to the live and pre-recorded cooking shows that I've done, and I'll continue to do more of them just for the platform, but they're fun, and I always call them my cook-along videos because they're not these speed-up videos where they're just focused on the food. I'm talking to you as I'm talking to you now. Why am I using this kind of salt? Why am I using coconut flour instead of gluten-free flour? Why am I using coconut amino acids instead of soy sauce, things of that nature? And so it's going to teach you further, and we make it really a lot of fun. And so again, I provided a health questionnaire for it's really for you to input what your needs are and your concerns so that I can best assist you in meeting your personal needs, especially when I do the open chat platform. So that gives me an idea of the population, of who I'm working with, what their concerns are, so that I can really bend it to your needs. So the ongoing support and shared community through the private Facebook group is awesome. I'll be posting all kinds of little things in there. Lots of the people last time on the platform posted a lot of little things that they were finding of interest. So it was just a lot of fun. As a bonus, I'm also going to be providing quite a few videos in regards of the exercises. So we have 7 easy exercise videos for you to do to make this really easy for you, because exercise is an integral part of helping you release and remove toxins out of the body. And so again, depending on what your capacity and your needs are, we have a movement that will suit your particular needs and or challenges. And a lot of people say, well, can't I just buy a book and do this on my own? And honestly, I've had so many patients try, and I say, sure, try, read it. But they always come back and say, oh, I got confused, or I lost interest, or, it didn't really work for me. And, I personally am very kinesthetic. I like watching, I like seeing. And so we always have so many different learning capacities. And so this way we're doing it. You got a visual, you've got it written, you've got it auditorial. We're hitting every capacity that you need to learn. And so many books, they're not all the same too, in regards to the ketogenic diets. And again, this isn't a ketogenic what we would consider the strict. This is a keto adaptive, and so it's a lot different in regards of the macronutrients that we put together as far as the percentages. So again, not all ketogenic diets are equal. In fact, we had a doctor, scientist came into our clinic to pitch us some ketogenic meals that were pre-made, and I was just kind of sitting there with my eyes wide open, kind of going, oh my God. There was, to me, I felt, okay, yes, you're definitely going to get these patients in ketosis, but at what cost? I mean, it was just like animal protein and cheese, and more animal protein and cheese. And I was just like, that is total inflammation. Sure, we're going to get you in ketosis, but it's very hard on your kidneys, and this is not a diet that you could last for a lifetime. And so again, it was, yes, we don't have patients do this more than a month. I said, well, that's not my intent. My intent is to create a lifestyle so that you can have it for the rest of your life, not only for yourself, but for all of your family as well. And so again, this isn't a fad diet. It's not a short-lived results. We're looking for permanent lifestyle changes. And so that's my mindset. We want to approach this with the mindset that we are recalibrating, and we are setting a new navigation that has to do with optimizing our ability to create the greatest vitality and health that we possibly can wherever we are at in our health. Now, what is next? All right. So if you would like to be a part of our Keto Kickstart platform, you're just going to click on the link below in the chat box to sign up. You can do it right now. And all attendees will receive an email with a direct link to purchase as well. Now, normally on site at the Center for New Medicine, this course is $350, but we're offering it to you today online for $297, which is fantastic, because when you come in to see me on a one-to-one basis, you are going to get so much value for this, because it's 6 weeks and there's never enough time for me to be able to partake all the things that I have to tell you in a very short visit that I can with my patients at the Center for New Medicine, and rushing because there's a patient waiting right behind them, and it can be a little bit stressful. So this, you can be very comfortable sitting in your own home at your own time, watching it as many times as you possibly can. So not only are you able to save a $50 difference here as far as the savings, but you'll also be able to have this as an evergreen as well. So again, the cart is officially open, but it will close on Monday. We're only going to take a minimal amount of people. So by January 15th, make sure that if this is the change you're looking for, I'm going to be there to support you every step of the way. And so again, module 1 will be released this Wednesday, January 17th. And then we will do the following Tuesday, we will do the open chat. So if you sign up within 24 hours, this is a bonus now, and you have a friend or a family member that signs up as well, by January 15th, you're going to automatically get upgraded to the VIP, which will be a health consulting one-to-one conversation with me so that we can go over your nutritional needs and any concerns that you might have. This is a $200 value. So don't miss out if you got someone that you want to partner up and bring this in. Now, unfortunately, your partner won't get this upgrade, but you will. And so if you want to take advantage of it, I think it's going to be awesome. So I really look forward to working with you and to, buddy up with you and partner up in your quest to make a huge difference in 2018, where you're going to be able to be the new you with whatever health concerns you have and change the dynamics and course of where you're going. So I'm going to just open up in just a few seconds for some questions, but what I want to do is address a few that are commonly asked questions. And this is one of them, and I hear this all the time. I've heard you can only stay on a ketogenic diet for a limited amount of time. That's yes. On a ketogenic strict diet, it's mostly for medical treatment only, whether it's through seizures or through severe obesity, where we're doing it for a short period of time to force the body to use fat for fuel, getting them out of leptin resistance. And or if you are suffering from cancer, and you have a glioblastoma or leukemia, you'll be more in a ketogenic mindset. But then again, we make sure that we adapt it to suit your needs. So again, remember, this is not a strict ketogenic diet. This is the Keto Adaptive, which you can stay on for the rest of your life. And so one of the questions always asked is, do I have to stay in ketosis the whole time, or do I have to even be in ketosis to lose weight? No, you don't. Now, we are going to optimize your ability to burn fat for fuel because we've got certain tricks and certain science behind when you should eat and how long you should have in between your meals, what you're going to combine together, when to stop eating, how to do intermittent fasting. So we've got a lot of great tips and secrets that you probably have never even heard before. So again, our goal is to optimize our ability to burn fat, which is not necessarily staying in ketosis. You may go in and out. Ketosis is that when you are doing specific tests, and you can see usually through urine or through a breathalyzer, patients that have that need and are restricted in their diets, we usually have them do that. But in this, we're not so concerned about keeping you in ketosis as moving you in and out and flowing as our primal blueprint was meant to be. Now, what can I expect? When can I expect to see results? Honestly, I guarantee you within 1 week, you're going to be feeling different. Your cravings are going to be gone. Mental clarity is going to be different. But usually about the second week, your body starts to try to adapt, and you're going to start feeling a lot of, not just your cravings subside, sleeping better, better mental attitude, not just in clarity, but just in the way you feel. And of course, within a couple of weeks, the first week you're going to lose a lot of weight because the body starts decreasing a lot of water, but that's kind of a false weight. And the second week, we start to see the body start to stabilize a little bit more. So honestly, you're going to see really within the first week, you're going to start to feel a difference of shedding a lot of this water weight and then going into actually using fat for fuel. Your body, if it hasn't been a fat burner for a long time, it's not automatically going to just say, oh, great, let's go unlock that fat. Let's just start using it for fuel. You're going to have to create the enzymes to be able to use fat for fuel. And so usually within about a 3-week to a 30-day period, you're a full fat burner. But remember, our goal is to teach you how to do this for a lifetime. We're not in a race here. And so again, what I'd like to do is I'd like to open it up for Q&A. And so I'm going to just go ahead and, so we've got 2 questions on the Q&A here.
So if they have questions, they can put them in the chat box or they can type in the Q&A.
So
Okay.
So again, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box, and then I will be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, so let's see here.
What do we do with your chat box? Okay, so we'll stop sharing your screen right
Okay,
now.
we're going to stop sharing the screen so we can get into the chat box.
And did we stop sharing?
Okay. I don't know.
No. Let's go here. Hi, Virginia.
Virginia, you just got home, honey. Okay,
Okay, then let's go back here.
All right.
So we're still recording it now.
Okay, great.
So
let's get to some questions here.
You can type them in the chat box, or you can just push the little Q&A. So when you see this Q&A, this is like 2 things that were said there, so nobody sees that. But here's your questions.
Okay.
Should we?
Okay, should we take before? Okay, so we have a question here. Should we take before and after shots, or is there a questionnaire that we fill out on sleep, energy, mental clarity, etc., that we can take before we start so that we have a gauge? Yes. I'm going to have a questionnaire that you'll be able to fill out. And of course, it's going to ask you all kinds of questions about your digestion, how you're sleeping, what kind of exercise that you're doing. And so I'm going to have that so I can kind of get an idea of the culture of all of the population of people we're working with. But again, it's always good to have a gauge. During the keto stacking, I'll be asking you to do some measurements so that we can have a mindset of here's where we started, and in 6 weeks, this is what we have achieved. So I will be sharing that with you in the keto stacking. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, thank you. Okay, let's see here. So any more questions? No, there's got to be some questions, or did I do just such an amazing job? I answered them all as you were going along here. Let's see here.
We have 30 people online. Somebody's got to have a question.
Okay, so now just remember, no question is a dumb question. So don't hesitate. Take advantage of me right now while I'm on live to ask any questions that you have. And so
pull your mouse to the bottom of the screen so you can see a chat if they don't see their
okay,
chat.
so again, pull your mouse to the bottom of your screen. There'll be a little chat button. So if you click that, it'll give you the ability to chat. Okay, so let's see. So someone asked me, is there a discount if a group of 4 or more family want to join, or does everyone pay separately? So honestly,
send me an email.
I will have Landy send you over an email, and
have them send us an email support.
Oh, okay. So Virginia, just go ahead and send us an email on support@liliana.com, and we will address that for you. Okay. All right. Let's have a look here. Okay. It says, do you or other family members at home that you cook for along with yourself? Okay, I'm not quite sure what that one. So one thing about me is I love food, and this is one thing I tell all of my cancer patients. There is absolutely no reason to give up fun and flavor. I mean, I'm Latina, where culture is all about sharing food and inviting people over. But when you realize that you don't give up any flavor, and fat has got a lot of flavor in it, you can still enjoy these wonderful gatherings, be very ritualistic about food. So luckily I have a husband who loves to eat too, and together we cook together. And a lot of times patients will say, well, how do I cook for myself and for other people? Well, I say, honestly, this is going to be a diet for everybody. If you've got children who need a little bit more carbohydrates because they're growing, then make it for them. And you're always going to make a protein. You're always going to make a vegetable. You're always going to make a salad. So those are the things that you can have, as well as that you can have the other things for your children or your husband as well. Just remember, you become the example, and I guarantee you they'll start saying, well, gee, I'd like to try a little of that. And boy, that tastes good. I didn't even know that was so good. And you'll get them all on board. Okay, it says, I have been, okay, so where are we at? okay, is the diet plant-based? So the keto platform is not a plant-based diet, but I have put in the modules for those people who are vegan or vegetarian, how to do this successfully. Now remember, all things from the plant kingdom have a component of glucose. If a sweet potato or a cup of quinoa or a cup of beans that have 40 grams of carbohydrates in it, then they don't really fit into the CAD platform at this time. When we go on to maintenance and we start adding things back, then of course we do it in incremental amounts just to see if we're cell ready to allow that glucose to be uptake as fuel. So we do accommodate it for people who want a more plant-based diet. Okay, a question. I've been doing this for a few weeks now, and I still want a square of dark chocolate now and then. Is that okay? Absolutely, it's okay. Now, the one thing that I love to use is cacao nibs. One thing is that 2 tablespoons of cacao nibs are 7 grams of carbohydrates, which normally would mean 7 grams of sugar. But they've got 6 grams of fiber in them. Now, remember, you can deduct the non-digestible portion of that food, which is the fiber. So even though I have 2 tablespoons of cacao nibs, and if I deduct the 6 grams, then I have exactly only 1 net carbohydrate. And so that makes it really nice. So a lot of times when I'm making a shake, I'll throw 2 tablespoons of cacao nibs in there. Or if I want to do cacao powder, which has a little bit more carbohydrate, I might just take some almond milk and throw some cacao powder in there. That's maybe about a 4 carbohydrate impact, and enjoy it. Why not? Chocolate has phenylalanine in it. It's got magnesium. It's your dopamine center, your brain gets really happy. So you can have some chocolate. You just don't want to have all the sugar and all the fillers in it as well. Okay. And so someone says, is ketosis dangerous? Well, now think about it this way. Anything in extreme is going to stress your body out. When I have too much ketones in my body, I can go into acid ketosis, which is not healthy for the kidneys. And so we keep a very close eye, especially on our patients who have glioblastoma or leukemia that have to maintain a net carbohydrate of 20 grams a day. Now, we keep an eye on them, but again, for our normal lifestyle, for people who just want to reverse disease, who want to stay young with mental clarity and vitality, this is not a strict ketogenic diet. And again, most people who are even on a cancer protocol and we've asked them to reduce their sugar, they're not always in ketosis. They go in and out. But my intention is that if their glucose levels come down and their hemoglobin A1C, which is how much sugar is in their blood over a 3-month period, starts to come down, I know we are doing it effectively. One thing that I tell patients to do is they can take their glucose level about 45 minutes after they've eaten a meal so that they can really gauge themselves on whether their body is able to utilize these sugars. So again, a severe ketosis diet, I would not do it for any great length of time. When we do it for therapeutic reasons to get the body to use fat for fuel, and then we adapt it to a more of a CAD diet. Okay, the next one is, can you also provide easy to prepare meals with a few ingredients? We are simple eaters. Well, absolutely. Now, one thing, the Keto Adaptive Diet cookbook, it's got a lot of recipes. And of course, I feel like I'm an alchemist in the kitchen. I like using a lot of flavor. I've lived in many countries, so I love using spices. But guess what? You can make it as simple as grilling vegetables and stewing, or making a nice soup, throwing vegetables and stewing some protein or crock pot in there, baking a chicken, throwing some salad together. We don't need to get complicated. What we just need to know is how much sugar we're consuming, how much protein we're consuming, because those are the 2 foods that if we eat more than we can have will turn into glucose. So when you know the science, it's easy to make healthy choices on whatever you want to eat. Okay, one question, how do you evaluate the body inflammation? So we do a test called C-reactive protein. That gives us a gauge on inflammatory markers. You want it to be below 1. Today I saw a patient, she had a level of 15. She had cancer. She was in an inflammatory response. If people have pain, joint, knee, back pains, their CRP level could be elevated. If they have excessive body fat, their CRP level could be elevated. That is one marker. The other marker we use is homocysteine. That means inflammation to the cardiovascular system. And so these are blood tests that we use. And then, of course, you can even to kind of get a gauge that, you know, when I press on my body and it, you know, depresses down, I can feel almost cushy wateriness in my body. My ankles are swelling. My joints are swelling. That is inflammation. Okay, another one is, can we use the diet with laetrile? Absolutely. And so again, apricot kernels, which is the food, which is laetrile, and there's been a lot of research that helps to, and we utilize it in the treatment of cancer. So I say absolutely no problem. They're very bitter, so there's extremely low sugar. Okay, what can one eat if one has lost their appetite? I also seem to have lost my sense of taste and need to use a lot of salt, otherwise I cannot eat food. So again, one of the things that a lot of patients share with me is once that they're on this protocol and they've taken a lot of these aggressive nutrient, or I wouldn't even call them nutrients, anti-nutrients, like sugars out of their diet, and go to actually a real salt, that means Celtic salt, Himalayan rock salt, a real mineral salt, all of a sudden their taste buds become alive again. Now remember, on your tongue, you've got all the receptor sites of glucose. So if I'm consuming too much sugar, it's going to make it very dead, and I'm not going to be able to gauge sweetness. If I have issues as far as my gastrointestinal issues, bloating, gas, heartburn, digestive issues, constipation, I'm not going to want to eat either. And so again, people who lose their appetite, oftentimes it's because of some medical reason in regards to treatment, or they could be, I would check for blood sugar and potential type 2 diabetes as well. So could this diet be made to fit a dairy-free diet? Absolutely. Now, the one thing that we are going to do in this protocol is the first 2 to 3 weeks, I want everybody to get off of all inflammatory foods. So that includes dairy. Now, our normal CAD diet does allow for some dairy, and that's, and again, when we talk about it, I talk about you know, the dairy that's more of like mother's milk, a molecular structure. So that's going to be like goat and sheep cheese. But in the first 3 weeks, I tell patients that they really want to unmask some of their allergens to take out dairy out of the diet so that we could see if that's impacting their health in a negative way. So you don't need to bring it back. My patients who have cancer or immunity issues or Hashimoto's or immunity issues in regards to any other basic immune systems, I tell them dairy is not great. It's not only is it mucus causing, but it has insulin growth factors that can stimulate tumor cell growth. So again, we do very little dairy on the CAD diet. The one dairy that we use is grass-fed butter, ghee, and organic heavy cream. Cream has no carbs, has no protein, so it's all fat and works really, really well on this platform. Why do patients with GMI need 20 grams? Okay, because, so patient asked me, well, why do patients that have glioblastoma have to be on 20 carbohydrates a day? So just remember that the brain fuels very well on ketones. And so cancer fuels very well on glucose. So if we do the minimal amount of glucose in the diet, we cut cancer's supply of food off while still maintaining full functionality in terms of mental clarity and metabolism. And so again, we try to keep it the lowest as possible, whether it's pancreatic, glioblastoma, or leukemia. So again, just remember, you are an individual person. When patients say, gosh, this is really difficult, I say, okay, you are your own personal experiment. Let's get the glucose meter out so that when you decide you want to try a little bit more carbs, I don't need to tell you, check it yourself, 45 minutes. If my blood sugar is above 100, then what I've consumed is either too much. Either you would cut it in half or take it out of your diet entirely until your cells were more ready to shuttle the glucose across the cell wall and actually use it for energy instead of keeping it in your blood, allowing cancer to fuel off of it. For autoimmune problems, how can this diet be adapted? Well, I have Hashimoto's, that's an autoimmune disorder, and this diet fits perfectly with it. So I have no issues at all with anybody who has any kind of autoimmune issues or problems, the CAD is going to be absolutely perfect, because what's the worst thing you could do on an autoimmune disorder? Gluten, number 1 worst. Dairy, number 2 worst. Actually, sugar, number 1, gluten, number 2, and dairy, number 3. And so those are the things that you're going to really realize are all the alterations that we do on the CAD protocol. Okay, another question. I'm estrogen positive and need to avoid soy. Also, I'm allergic to wheat. Is the diet gluten-free? The diet is gluten-free and really kind of grain-free. If we use any kind of things like breads or tortillas, they're made out of coconut and almond flour. The protocol, which is the CAD protocol, is going to be able to fit anyone who is with a limited diet as far as an autoimmune, cancer, diabetes, anti-aging, inflammation. So I guarantee you, you are going to be really happy that it's going to hit most anything that you're looking for. So again, soy is not my favorite. We don't use soy. It's not only, it's an estrogen problematic, but GMO is something that we want to stay completely away from. And for patients who are vegan or vegetarian, I let them have it, or not let them, I recommend that they could have fermented, if anything, which has to be GMO free, and that would be like tempeh, which is a fermented soybean. But again, if you know you're sensitive, I'm very sensitive, I just don't have it at all in my diet.
I think we've made it through the questions.
Okay, so another one here.
We've gone through those.
Okay, so we went through those, and
yeah. Do you have any more questions?
So do we have any more questions tonight? You guys have come up with some awesome questions. Thank you so much. This is what it's all about, being interactive, getting your questions answered so that there's no more confusion. Let's not have any more confusion. When we know what we're doing, remember, knowledge is power, and we've got that power. We're going to feel we have dominion over the choices we make, which is going to lead us down the road of vitality and exceptional health. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you. So remember, don't forget to sign up for our webinar. Bring your friends and family in, and let's do this together. Have a great evening.